An app is tapping into traditional knowledge to prepare farmers for drought. Bloemfontein, South Africa. An app is combining weather station data with the traditional knowledge of African farmers to predict droughts. To help prepare farmers for the effects of climate change, Kenyan computer scientist Muthoni Masinde has created mobile platform ITIKI. The name stands for Information Technology and Indigenous Knowledge, and the platform sends farmers drought forecasts via an app or SMS message. Although it uses meteorological data, Masinde says most African farmers can better relate to the traditional knowledge that is also used to formulate the platform's predictions. I grew up in a Kenyan village, and I noticed that most farmers do not have any form of science to tell them when to plant, Masinde told CNN Business. They watch insects, they watch the behavior of animals, and then they make a decision. I think it'll rain in 2 weeks' time. ITIKI employs young people in farming communities to gather photos and updates about animal behavior and local vegetation, such as which trees are flowering. They capture their findings on the ITIKI app, and ITIKI collates this information with data from local weather stations to model weather patterns months in advance. Farmers can subscribe to the service for just a few cents and receive regular updates in their local language, helping them make early decisions about which crops they should grow and whether to sell or save their produce. Economic impact of drought. Many African countries are especially vulnerable to climate change, and small-scale farmers in particular, who rely on rainfall for their harvests, could face poverty and food insecurity, according to UN climate experts. That could have major economic repercussions. Agriculture contributes about 15% to Africa's total GDP, according to a 2017 UN report, and accounts for around half of the continent's employment, according to the African Development Bank. Now a professor at the Central University of Technology Free State, in South Africa, Masinde launched the app in 2016 in Kenya, where agriculture makes up around a third of GDP. Investments in climate adaptation solutions, especially targeting small-scale farmers, would lead to GDP growth in Africa, said Masinde. She added that African governments tend to react to drought and extreme weather rather than proactively planning for these events. We do not prepare for drought, she said. It's like we just wake up and discover that people in rural Kenya are starving, that people on one side of the country have no rain. Masinde says ITIKI is now used by more than 15,000 farmers in Kenya, Mozambique, and South Africa. Since farmers started using the app, their crop yields have increased by an average of 11%, according to Masinde. ITIKI has received $750,000 in funding from the US and South African governments, which will be used to scale up operations. By the end of this year, Masinde hopes to have signed up over 100,000 farmers to the platform. Click subscribe to receive the latest news.